Hello everyone and welcome to the race analysis for the Madrid Regional Finals. I say race analysis, it's my personal analysis of what happened at the regional finals, what I could have done better, what I could have changed, why I thought different things, why I chose to do different decisions at different times. Give you a little bit of an insight into actually what happened. We've done this before with the World Tour events, now you're going to get it with the regional finals as well. Sorry if you just looked like I winked at you then, but long day at work, eyes are kind of tired. But even so, we're going to look at that. As you can see in front, we're going to look at the European Final Block A first of all. So this is the heats in order to qualify for the World Finals. And then we will look at the European Finals, the 3 races that happened there. And actually what happened. Now, I hope you've have already watched the live stream, watched it live. I know a few of you have because I saw this. You might see some of the live chat in a little bit when I switch between the screens and stuff. But I did read the messages, so thank you for any support that you have given. I have actually literally said this on the stream that I've seen some of your messages. I got tweets about it. I got everything about it. But even so, we're going to go into the race analysis. Obviously, this first race, the stream's a little bit choppy. So what we're going to do is just jump between little bits and explain my thought process throughout this. So let's just start off very simple. As we go towards the grid. I was just waiting for it to load, obviously. So Adam Suswillow got on pole position, and then I am in second place. So let me just explain a little bit. You see me there? Look, woo! So let me just explain a little bit about what happened. So originally when we got there, the seeding was going to determine the qualifying position. So I should have started third. We then had a qualifying session, and I got second. And I did that in the Volkswagen Vision Gran Turismo car. Now, car choice was by seeding, so I got third choice. And I had 3 in mind. I had Adam's FT1 because it's amazing on tyres. I had this car in mind, and I had the SLS, which was chosen by Zoe. In fact, the British chose the 3 cars that were in my head, which is kind of interesting, as you'll see in a little bit. Now, this car is very good over 1 lap. So if you can save the tyres over 1 lap, it is brilliant. I reckon I could have been very close to Adam. I made quite a severe mistake on my qualifying lap, going to the hairpin. Everybody caught me up on there, caught me up on that lap. And then I continued to then gain again. But Adam did put in a very good lap. It was 0.1, which is very fast at live. And I was at 0.2.1, I think it was. So it was only 4 or 5 tenths off Adam. And then there was another... then there was a tiny gap to Giorgio in third place, if we continue on in second. But the reason I chose this car is because of its top end speed. We're at St. Quart A, and obviously it's got long straights, so I chose it for that. The downside is the tyre wear. It is significant, and I'll explain that as we go on. So there you go. Oh, you can see the stream gets a little bit choppy here. So okay, let's just pause it and let's jump a little bit further ahead on the grid. Okay, there we go. Zoran there in the SLS. Timing. So my idea in my head was I was always going to start on softs, being on the front row of the grid, because I want to pull away. I want to get away from Giorgio as fast as I can. My whole goal in this race is to make the World Finals. I don't care whether I come first or second. Top 2 go through to the World Finals. 3rd to 8th going to the repertoire race. 9th and 10th are out. So my goal here was to always get top 2. So I said to Adam, especially after qualifying, I said at the event, if I ever get behind you before I got there, because I was starting 3rd and Matty was in between us, I wouldn't attack you. I'd only attack Adam if I needed to. So if it was Adam was in 2nd, I was in 3rd, I would attack Adam. If I was under a lot of pressure, if I'm behind and Adam was slowing me up, I would attack Adam. But at any other point where I didn't need to attack Adam, I wasn't going to attack him, because I knew Adam was going to pick the Volkswagen because he just really doesn't like that car. I personally don't like the looks of it, but I think if it had a roof, it'd be far more acceptable. But even so, at this point, I just want to make the World Finals. I don't really care what I use. If it's a valid car, I will use it. So Adam knew that, and especially when I qualified P2, I said to him again, I said, I am not going to attack you. I will only attack you if I need to. He knew my strategy because we both did a couple of races beforehand, before going. So he decided to go on soft as well as myself as well, and you see Zoran there in the SLS. And then this was a last minute decision to get him there, so fair play to even get there, mate. Honestly, nice to see you as well. It was awesome. Shame about your qualifying. As you heard when I commented on it a little bit, you spanned both times. Really unfortunate, but obviously it's a last minute decision for you to get that. I assume you hardly had any practice as well, so you know, big shout out, and you performed very well in this race as well. So you can see the tyres here, right? Soft, soft, hard, mediums, hards, hards. The minute that happened, stream gets choppy again, thanks for that. Here we go. The reason I got really happy here is because Giorgio is on hards here. I think, excellent, me and Adam could pull away here and really get away, and hopefully Giorgio will get into a battle with Sherpion, which is Steve. And that does happen. So Giorgio got very close to me on that first corner. Actually tapped me a little bit. He went very aggressive into that first corner. I went a bit soft, so that compromise sort of made contact with each other. But we're just staying on this part of the race initially because, as you see, Adam's got a little bit of a gap here. And Adam was always going to try and make the apex here because he kept missing it. That's what he said after the race. So through there he goes. You can see Giorgio under pressure now from all the other guys. But as you see in a second, Adam is on the grass here. So I'm just going to pause it at this point, right? You just see Steve hit Adam there as well. Obviously Adam's just come back on the track. So at this point in my mind I'm thinking, right, I'm just going to have to focus here and go for it. Stay calm, keep going, there's going to be a big battle behind. I had no idea what was going to happen at this point. Felt bad for Adam. Adam obviously is a competitor who I went to GT Academy 2013 with. But even so, I've got to forget about Adam now. I've got to focus on this race. So let's just look at this incident a little bit slower as well, because I know there was lots of comments made about this. Obviously, the Italians weren't happy with this. Giorgio wasn't happy with this. But we can analyse it a little bit more. So as you see, Steve has already tapped Adam, which has made him get a bit of overspeed. Now, as we come into this corner now, Adam brakes. And you see he then goes into Giorgio there, and Giorgio is now sideways. So when Adam gets hit from behind, it creates an overspeed, right? Now, the thing about this, and you will experience this in game, but this is more extreme here, is that the tyres keep the dirt on them longer. So he's got less grip. So Adam is now trying to brake earlier, but his braking distance is far greater than it's ever been in any of the practice sessions. So he goes into Giorgio. Now, Giorgio, of course, won't be happy with this because of the incident. Now, it's sort of amplified because Steve hit the back of him. Now, you could argue, was it a safe return onto the track? I don't know. But even so, that's the reason for the contact. So we just thought this about a little bit. You can just see there, Adam is running extremely wide. He's got no grip. He's got no brake stopping distance. He's got no grip. And that's because of the dirt on the tyres. Now, Giorgio is extremely wide here as well. So when, I got around the next corner, as you can see, there's action here. And Adam said he would give this position back, by the way. But obviously, Benito Raul, Benjamin Barda, sorry if I got your name wrong, dude, then obviously gets in front of Giorgio as well. So Adam can't really give up 2 places there for Giorgio. Should he, shouldn't he? It's a live event, a lot going on in your head at the time, especially after an incident like that. What do you do? In Adam, I don't know. As I say, he said if Giorgio hadn't lost a position, he would have given it back. And as you can see, Adam is very disappointed there. You can see that puff of air there, one hand on the steering wheel. He is thinking, wow, what just happened there? So we'll just look at my distance now. I've got a 2-second gap to Adam. So at this point, I'm just going to keep going now. I'm just going to keep going. I know Adam will catch me up. He's in the FT1, which has a much better tyre life. He can last a lot longer, as we'll see later on. It's Adam anyway, who's bloody quick. And as we saw in the top 24 round 8, Adam won this race, even with a pit stop mistake. So you know he's quick here anyway. And he's obviously going to start pulling away here because you've got 2 guys on hards and then all these on medium. So it's a crazy battle that's going to happen. But we're going to advance a bit further on because we're just looking at this from my analysis now, not the overall analysis of this race. Because otherwise we'd be here all day, and we've got 3 more races to look at. So let's jump a bit further on here. So we get to lap 2. You can see the carnage here. I mean, look at this. So we can actually go to normal speed again as well. Lots of action here, which obviously helps me and Adam massively. So if I just pause it here, Popsu, nice to meet you again, Popsu. Awesome to finally meet you, obviously, because we've raced a lot in other games. Popsu is now up ahead here on mediums, which you expect mediums to overtake the hard guys. Giorgio and Benito are doing amazingly well here. Absolutely amazing to stay here with hards. Zoran is in there as well. Obviously, all the battling helps all these guys on hards move up the field. And we've got this 6-second advantage at this point, which is kind of nice. And Adam is obviously catching me up at this point. We've gone obviously a lap basically a lap ahead, and he's gained 4 attempts there on me, or 5 attempts even. This is where Adam will start to reel me in a lot, because of the tyre wear. The tyre wear amplifier is on times 14, so trust me, the tyres go off very quickly in this Volkswagen Vision Gran Turismo car. So let's advance a bit further on here. You can see Adam is now 1.3 seconds. It does start to just drop. Look, 1.1. I don't have any grip on those front tyres. The soft wear out very, very quickly. Now, at the end of this lap, I always had it in my mind I was going to go on hard tyres. The mediums were not nice on the Volkswagen. The mediums were nice on the FT1 apparently, and they were nice on a few other cars, but on the Volkswagen they were not nice. They were very slippy, and they lost grip very quickly. Obviously, if you understeer, you're going to scrub a lot of tyre wear, and they felt very understeering. And obviously, you're going to do that. You're going to start oversteering because you're overturning the car. So you see, Adam has gained 1.2 seconds in about a lap and a half, and then he gains a load there because I went a bit too cautious on the white line. They did say you didn't have to abide by it per se, just the fact that you respected it enough to not be stupid about it. No dangerous maneuvers. You can go in and go out because it's very hard to get in that white line on the last corner. It's crazy hard. Try it, trust me. Go on the track and try it. So I see Adam goes on medium. I look up at the screen and I go on hard. So I come out of this knowing that Adam is probably going to overtake me at some point because he's on the softer tyre compound, the much softer tyre compound. And if you look at the rest, I wasn't really paying attention to these at this point because I thought, okay, this has happened, like where we've got such an advantage over everybody else. We should be able to keep this advantage of 3-4 seconds and really carry on with this race. And as you can see here, I've got a little bit of a gap, but nothing major. So if I advance a little bit further on, a tiny bit more, I want to go sit here. What lap are we on? Number 3. I'm trying to find the position here, guys. Sorry about this. Oh, here we go. Right when it starts lagging. Hopefully this disappears in a second. Because I want to show you. In fact, you can just see it here, right? So, unfortunately, you're going to have to look at this. So, you see Adam here is gaining on me, right? And I thought he was originally going to maybe go for the move if he wanted to. But he said he didn't go for it because of what I said. He also was struggling with top-end speed. Now, I thought he was letting off at this point because he only slightly tapped me. He was actually flat out. My car is so fast in a straight line. That's why he would struggle to even overtake me at that point, which is kind of nice because then I've got my advantage. As you see, Benjamin and Giorgio still here. 6 seconds now, the distance between me and Adam. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's kind of nice at the moment. I was paying attention to that gap, just like looking up at the screen occasionally, seeing what the gap is and thinking, okay, we're in a good position here. So I was sort of cruising, but just in a nice casual fashion. Same with Adam, I think. Just making sure we kept the positions. We had nothing to lose. All we needed to do was make the World Finals. So let's go a lap later on as well. It does stop lagging at some point. Come on, stop loading. Here we go. So lap 4 now. So you see this gap here. Adam did try and go for a move down on this section here. We've got a 7.6 second gap to Giorgio. And remember that gap as well, because that is a crazy gap. So you see Adam is now getting very close. So at this point, we're coming to the end of lap 4, right? Here we go. So Adam goes through there. And if you listen to Jimmy in a second,
onto the final lap by pitting. That looked very much like a okay, through you come. I don't think these guys are fighting. They're very much aware of, again, I say again, these guys right now.
There you go. You see, Jimmy knew exactly, right? So I let off there because Adam was on the inside. I actually thought Adam was going in the pits, by the way, because I saw he was on mediums. Adam can do 3 laps on mediums. I couldn't do that. I could only just do 1. So it's significant enough, this tyre multiplier, that it was an issue. Now you can see our gap to Zoran there, 11.6 seconds. Now look here. So Giorgio is going on the soft tyre. The soft tyre, right? So he's going to have a significant advantage over these last 2 laps. Now, because of the multiplier, and I've learnt it more recently, especially obviously in the races going forward, which we'll discuss in a second. And also from racing in the recent FIA race at Willow Springs, the undercut is massive. So the fact that me and Adam stay out is actually a bad thing. Now, I didn't know this at the time. Again, I was just cruising. I saw the gap of 11.6. I thought, nice, we've got this now. We've got this in the bag. So let's advance even further up. As I say, my tyres are going to start really falling off again because I'm in the Volkswagen. pits tyres have a significant issue. So you'll see here, gap is 1.2, which is as expected, right? So I've got fair pace. Adam said he had fair pace. Adam's got the better tyre life, is on the better tyre as well. He's going to gain an advantage here. So as you see, the gap is now down to 9.5. That was 11.6, right? But Giorgio manages to pull even more back on this lap. He absolutely flies, does Giorgio. Absolutely flies. So obviously we know what's going to happen here. Adam goes on hard, I go on mediums. Happy days. And as we come out the pits, Adam comes out, I come out, and there is Giorgio. Now, I am not even going to lie here, right? I thought we were cruising, me and Adam, so we've got one more lap. When I came out the pits, I looked up, I saw 3 tenths. I had to double, I was literally like, what? Where the hell did that 12-second gap disappear from? Giorgio flew on that lap. He got the fastest lap. He did everything right, did Giorgio. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh my God, I am in some serious trouble here. Giorgio is fast, right? And he's very fast at live events as well, Giorgio. Probably one of, if not the fastest guy at live events. He is rapid. So, you know, big fair play to Giorgio. So this last lap is going to be nuts. And obviously he's going to be, raging a little bit because of the incident earlier on as well. So Giorgio was in all those battles and he's managed to come back. So the undercut here was significant enough that me and Adam should have done a different strategy. So as you see, I'm 1.4 seconds off Adam at the moment. Giorgio is very, very close to me. But all I know is that I've just got to stay calm, do my lap. I'm on some clean, fresh medium tyres. That was in my advantage and that gave me a lot of confidence, right? Because fresh mediums are going to be faster than worn softs. Because Giorgio's tyre is going to run out halfway around this lap. It's going to be a fact. I just have to keep it till that point. So as you see there, I'm trying to just maintain a nice line because I know I've got the pace in the car. The car's strength is its speed. Its weakness is its tyres. So, you know, strength and weakness here, I've got to use it to my advantage. And we're closing on Adam as well because we're on the softer tyre. Adam's obviously on the hard tyre. So you can see I'm just trying to maintain tight, easy lines, remain calm. So I'm running slightly deep here. You can see that I've had to dab the brakes a little bit there. Didn't want to do that. So that compromises myself. I'm now coming into this corner here. So I tried to stay tight a little bit to try and get Adam's slipstream. Adam, I'm not sure if he tries to help me here or not. Tries to give me the slipstream here. So Giorgio is now going to try and overtake. This is the strength of the Volkswagen. The one strength. And I was so happy I had it. He goes to overtake and can't. Look at the grunt of it. And at that point specifically, I knew I had it. Because that was Giorgio's only chance with slipstream and I knew his tyres would go off. And as you see, we're catching Adam at a fair pace of knots. Adam makes a little bit of a mistake into here. So now I'm in a bit of a sticky situation. So I'm trying to be aware of Giorgio and aware of Adam. Because if Giorgio really attacks me hard, I'm going to have to overtake Adam. But at this point, it's sketchy. So we're now going to come towards the end of the bridge. Keep an eye on Giorgio here. Keep an eye on Giorgio. Bang! Look at that hit. So you might think that was Giorgio's fault. It wasn't. So what happened is there is an issue with TGTs occasionally where they accidentally do a command themselves. So in this situation, the wheel paused itself in the braking zone. I crapped my pants. I'm not even joking. I literally was like, oh, I put my hand up and everything. I had to quickly hit X and put my hand up like, what's going on? I'm not losing a world final spot because of this. Giorgio, I think, backed off as well. So, you know, fair play to Giorgio. He did say afterwards he thought it was his fault. Giorgio, it wasn't your fault. I did tell you that at the time as well. It literally was the wheel pausing itself. Is that the biggest scare you can have on the last lap of a race where a world final spot is on the line? But at that point as well, it sort of saved me a little bit because as I leave this corner now, I'm now going to have this advantage over Giorgio on the fresher tyres, and Giorgio is not going to be able to get that back. So, and it says incident involving Giorgio. I knew nothing had come about from that, and I think Giorgio was sort of like, sorry Tidge, sort of thing, in his feeling. I could tell that by that picture, but obviously he's still raging from the other incident as well because he feels he should be in first or second spot. I mean, you never know what happens in the race. Obviously, he was involved in a lot of battles, so potentially, maybe you should have won the race because me and Adam made a different strategy decision. See, Giorgio went for quite a big lunge there, but I wasn't falling for that one. So Adam gets first place. I get second. I made the World Finals. Oh, man, you've no idea of the just relief I had for getting that as well. So you can just see Giorgio here. I could go over just to talk to Adam a little bit, just to, see what happened, and you can see Adam's talking about it a little bit. Yeah, so as you heard from Jimmy, there you might have heard it. I didn't expect to make the World Finals. I will be honest. I consider Europe to be the fastest region. I consider Japan to be the fastest nation. I have always said this. You've got to remember, Europe, the top 3 from each country go to this event. In other countries, it's top 10. So the significance of that gap is increased. And the fact that you could potentially have 10 UK guys here, actually, to be fair. Because the UK at the moment is probably the 2nd or 3rd most competitive nation in the world in terms of GT. Japan is number 1. Then where is it? Is it UK? Is it France? Is it Spain? I actually think it's between UK and France on 2 and 3. So, it's significant. A lot of European nations are quick. And if you look at the Austria World Tour as well, the top nations, top 4, were all European. Then we had Japan. Now, Japan made a few errors, of course. They did show their pace there as well. So that is my belief. So the fact that I made the World Finals, I was over the moon. Job achieved. I am going to the World Finals. Oh my word. I was mind blown. So I'll continue talking with Adam and stuff. But I was so happy. You can see me just doing the actions as I normally do. But yeah, I was so happy. There's Kevin as well. Big shout out to Beloff. Beloff is awesome. And Beloff had a good comeback during that as well. But that is the end of that heat race. Oh my word, I was so happy. And obviously you saw that there's a lot wow for you. Yeah, honestly, there was a lot of that. And if you go to the Italian stream, it's even more crazy and stuff if you can read it and things like that. But yes, we made the World Finals. So that is that race sorted and done. Thank you for any support you showed there in there. Hey look, there's more TV even commenting. So yes, we made the. Honestly, you've no idea how happy I was to make that. And I go in 2 weeks to the World Finals. Honestly, I'm so happy. I can't tell you how happy I am, because that will have mean I've been to every event I was able to go to this year, and the World Finals I thought I'd lost with that manufacturers race, season 10, round 10. So the fact I'm going is awesome, and I get to meet some of the guys again. And Zoran even said to me, out of everybody, if he doesn't make it, he wanted me to go because I didn't make the World Finals otherwise. So, shout out to Zoran as well. Zoran had bad luck in qualifying in both this race and the repertoire race. So, fair play to Zoki, who's Zoran. But yeah, I get to meet Zoran again as well, and a few other guys. So, let's now leave this race and we'll go to here. So, you can see the qualifying times here. So, we've got Mikhail. Top. I was actually 1.5 tenths up on this lap, on my last lap. Then we've got Patrick. Now, I'm still unsure whether Patrick's lap is a 1:29.0. Maybe Patrick can answer. I don't know. Because when he crossed the line, there's a bug in Gran Turismo at the moment that if you get a penalty on the last lap and cross the line, that penalty doesn't apply itself, and you keep your lap time. And Patrick had a 1 second penalty when he crossed the line of a 1:29.0. I can't see a 1:28.0 being in there. He may have had it. I don't know, as I say. That was just there. So I dropped down to 3rd place. This lap, by the way, was on my first flying lap. I had full tank of fuel. Even Mikhail said, how the hell did I do that lap on the first flying lap? Even Adam was shocked when I caught him up on the lap. So slipstream was significant because it was the X2014s at Catalunya. And yeah, I literally nailed the first and second sector. Catalunya I've been good at in other games, so I instantly took to it here. I knew my brake balance straight away, what I wanted to do. I knew how to handle the track and stuff. So I caught up to Adam quite quickly in the lap, which gave me a lot of slipstream. And then Adam went into pits and I caught the end of Patrick's slipstream, which gave me a good lap time of 1:29.0. So I was very, very happy with that. Very, very happy. Just 1 second. Take a drink. Oh, excuse me. All this talking dries your throat. So yeah, I was very happy with that lap. And this actually prepped me very nicely because the first race is Alsace. Now Alsace, I don't like that much because I've hardly ever raced it. I like it a little bit more now after this race in particular because I kind of found it fun. And we also had random cars. So I got picked the Ferrari 458 Italia for this race. So let's advance a little bit further on to... Oh, in fact, let's get on to the entrances a little bit first, right? There's Coque first on. Then we have PCM STJ. Salazar there. Nice to meet you as well, sir. This is awesome, by the way. I hope they do this at the World Finals. There's Yomas. Way, Yomas. Woo. Nice to meet you as well, mate. Nice to meet everybody at these. There's RC Afo. Big respect for Afo. I've raced Afo for God knows how long. bloody long time. And then we have Adam, of course. There's Adam. Fellow GT Academy 2013 competitor. There we have Snake with his standard pose there, kissing the French flag. There we go. Look at Snake. He's awesome, is Snake. Absolutely awesome. And we have Giorgio. Again, as I say, I think he's one of the fastest live event drivers I've ever raced, to be honest. He is absolutely rapid. I was teammates with him in Nürburgring, of course. He really showed pace. Here we go! Way! So I did the old one. I want to think of something new. So I'm thinking I'm going to go for the old T sort of thing. I don't know. Let me know, guys, in the comments. What do you think I should do? Should I do something weird? I don't know. Did the old wagging fingers at the time. There was Patrick, by the way. And then we have Mikhail. There we go. Look at the cookie eating. Fair play. Mikhail was on fire on that day as well. Absolutely rapid. His fastest lap and second fastest lap would have got him pole as well. So here are the guys. But let's jump to the race now. As we get ready. We've got to skip the little error that happened with the grid. Here we go. So Alsace, interesting circuit. Of course, we have a mandatory pit stop. Now this is what I think they should do. Should we have chat on? Should we not have chat? No, we won't have chat on because you could go read the chat after. As you see, I'm in third place in the Ferrari. Let me get back to this. We have that mandatory pit stop, and this is what they should do in the FIA Championships. Make it just a mandatory pit stop. I really don't care that the tyre multiplier is 400 or whatever it is. Just make it a mandatory pit stop. That way the cars can be balanced with no tyre wear, tyre wear times 1, fuel times 1. Make it a mandatory pit stop. That will allow overcuts as well as undercuts, and I'll get onto that significantly a little bit later. So now, some of these cars are quite powerful, and some are not that powerful in this race. The N500 category is kind of a bit all over the place in my opinion. Oops, somebody just making a mistake there. And we have a very long rolling start here. I did laugh at this when it started. So I think the McLaren F1 was a fairly rapid car in this category. Same with the BMW. Now, I didn't really see Mikhail and the strength of the F1 other than I know it could handle its tyres very nicely. It got massively nerfed, so it was massive weight, minimum power, and it was still fast, which shows you... And when you do that to a car, so it's like the Megane Trophy in Group 4, it's still OP. It's a very quick car, so, you know, very quick car with lightning in, it's going to go flying, right? So, yeah, lightning was going to disappear. Then I had Patrick in the R8, which was one of the worst cars on the grid, to be fair. And then there was me in the Ferrari, which is in the middle of the road of the pack, really. Very good turning, very bad tyre wear. So let's look at the action, because there's a lot of action in this race, and I'll explain what was going in my head at the time. So I knew Patrick was going to struggle here. I did know that straight away. So I did try and get my nose in a little bit. That BMW M4 behind me had very seamless gear changes, unlike everybody else who had the BMW was sort of like that sort of thing, right? So you'll see Giorgio instantly start picking up the pace here. So I'm trying to hang it on the outside because it's a right-hander next, right? Giorgio gives me plenty of room here. I give him plenty of room, so I try and dive straight into here. Look at this side-by-side action. This is bloody good racing with Giorgio. As I exit there, he's got enough room on the exit. I keep that position. Now he's under attack from RC Snake. Giorgio then going for the inside there as well. I may have cut his nose off a little bit potentially, not too sure, but then he slows off. Now, let me just pause it here a second, because Giorgio was on rig number 10. Now, that wheel, I believe, had an issue in this race, in that it would suddenly change gear downshift. It only happened a couple of times. So I think it happened there, and I think it's going to happen somewhere else in a little bit. So as you see, we kept third position. I was happy at this point because if I can get a good result here, my other 2 races, I know I'll be very competitive in. Very, very competitive in, and I'll explain a little bit after. So as you see, Adams in the AMG GTS, again another middle of the road sort of car. Not huge strengths, no huge weaknesses. So as you see there, Giorgio's rear just goes round. Though I'm not sure whether the wheel then changed gear on him there, and that's literally what caused that spin. Only Giorgio can answer that, but I'm assuming that's what happened, because that would shift the weight of the car a lot. And you get to see another view of this here now. So if you see, comes in, and it just goes round. Just goes round. So in the Ferrari, of course, I'm trying to be very aggressive on turning, allow the MR stability, you know, doing this, doing that, drifting the car a little bit, try and get round as fast as I can, because that's the strength of the Ferrari. It can point and squirt. It's not very quick on the straights, as you've already seen. Giorgio flew past me, but I'm even with the R8 on the straights, but it's got better turning than the R8, so it is a better car than Patrick up ahead. So I knew I'd be able to catch up to Patrick as well when his tyres start going. Being a four-wheel drive car, the R8 is going to struggle at this circuit. So as you see, I've got Patrick, it's not Patrick behind me, I've got Pierre behind me, sorry Pierre, who is RC Snake. And I saw we had a gap behind as well, so I thought, excellent, here we go, we're in a fight here. I wanted top 5, top 5 for me was just epic, and that would do me for Alsace. As I say, I've definitely raced it once, twice maybe, but I don't remember the second race. I'd have to really look hard. But as you see, we're not losing ground to Pierre or Patrick. We're thereabouts. We have a new car in this as well that Afo was driving, Anthony Duval, which was the Maserati Gran Turismo S, which was quite boaty apparently, but it'd be very quick on the straights. So as you see, I'm still not sure of the line for that corner, by the way. I think every lap I took a different line there, so it was quite funny really. I did have cones on. Now, it might not show in this lobby or this replay. I did have cones on to help me, and it did help significantly with this track. So fair play for PD allowing cones on, because in the end, it doesn't affect anybody else other than me, because if someone wipes them out, I then have to run over the damn things. As you see at this point, we are now catching up to Patrick. It's point 4. And just as well, let me get the mouse off. You see how it's laps 2 out of 7. Now, I wasn't sure about the undercut or the overcut here. I really wasn't sure. I now know after the race, but at this point in time, I was going to race to lap 4. I was always going to do that unless I didn't get past Patrick and then I'd dive in early. That was sort of the idea. And as you can see, I'm now putting a little bit of pressure on. Patrick's running very wide. He's trying to save those front tyres as best as he can. He's getting a lot of understeer. So I'm now going to start putting a little bit of pressure onto Patrick to try and catch up to him. Look at that, lovely line by me. Patrick again struggling, just accelerating out of corners. Not sure what his brake balance was. I assume it was to the rear at 5. I was on 0 or -1. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. As Jimmy says, just in the background, I'm a driver who goes more for consistency over raw, fast, one-lap pace at the moment. So if I can do consistent laps constantly, you should be up there. And we'll touch on that in the GT Sport driving school that I'm going to do. But as you can see, we're close to Patrick now. Pierre behind has lost ground. So I'm thinking, at this point, bloody hell, seconds on the cards. And I was honestly thinking this. I was like, oh, here we go then. And I see Patrick's going to run wide here. So this is where you can see how much acceleration or not that I've got. So as you see, Patrick went on the dirt there, but we're still fairly even. I now start gaining a little bit of power here, just with the gear changes and stuff. So, you know, I'll change gear, he'll change gear. He's got the inside. He does dab his brakes there, which is fair enough. I thought he could have ran me a little bit wide here. Go for the dive down the inside. Jimmy thinks I took it too much, but I don't actually. As you see, I now know, because the way I took it, and we'll touch on this again in the driving school, because I dived on the inside, I knew I'd have the inside for this left-hander, so I keep the position. I got a second! Yes! Second place! I was so happy. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable, honestly. So I know Patrick's struggling on his tyres at this point, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to carry on here. And at this point, I wanted to stay out an extra lap as well to avoid any traffic. But again, I underestimated substantially how much the undercut is actually worth here. I really, really, really did. So let's accelerate a bit further on. As you see, we're 3.1 seconds behind Mikhail. Patrick is still in there. Obviously, my slipstream will help him a little bit keep up a little bit more. But yeah, 3 seconds behind Mikhail. Mikhail's just gone for it. And some drifting there by the Porsche driver of Salazar and Giorgio as well in that M4, trying to make some ground here. Giorgio in a very fast car. Now, in a practice session, the BMW is about a second quicker than everything else. Now, obviously, Giorgio is very quick as well, so it's not really a like for like, but you know, it was very quick, the BMW. Now, you see everyone start pitting. I looked behind me the instant I passed the pit entrance, and I saw everyone go in, and I thought, I've done this wrong. I've really done this wrong. So I try and go for a quick outlap, right? Now, if I accelerate a bit further on, you see other guys have stayed out as well. Giorgio stayed out. Lots of people have stayed out. And as you see, the pit stops aren't that crucial because Patrick, look, he's already 0.6. So at this point, this is where the thought of traffic came in because they've come right out in traffic, these guys. Except Yomas. Yomas is having terrible time in that Lamborghini. I'm not sure what it's about, that Lamborghini. Didn't really ask him. As you can see, I'm losing ground to Mikhail, so I'll lose about 2 seconds here. The McLaren F1 is very good on its tyres. Ferrari not so good, so I'm losing significant time here. So, you know, I am losing time. But at this point, you know, with Patrick fighting with traffic, you're thinking, actually, I've made a good decision to stay out, haven't I? It's not the case. So, if we advance a bit further on. So here's Mikhail. Mikhail's obviously going to come in the pits. There's a 5.5. 2 seconds on one lap. Basically, my tyres are gone at that point, and I felt that halfway through the lap. So he comes in. Obviously, I'm going to come in as well. Giorgio, 1.5 seconds behind me after that spin. So incredible stuff by Giorgio. Obviously, to make that ground up is unbelievable stuff. So I'm going to come out the pits now. And yeah, you're going to see me in 5th place. Out of the pit lane here in 5th position as well, so he's really begun to lose out. I'm not sure if that's a graphical error or not, but indeed it is. And so he's really see, look at that. So you heard Tom even think, is that a graphical error? The undercut was worth that much. So the undercut was worth, so we were about half a second ahead of Patrick at the end of that. So that's 1.3 seconds plus another 0.7, that's 2.2 seconds plus the 0.5 or whatever it was anyway. It's 2.7 seconds I lost on that, just from that. And that was with them having traffic as well. Absolutely insane. So, obviously, at this point, I'm in 5th position. So, I'm thinking, okay, this has been really, really frustrating. I should be in 2nd place here, not 5th. So, I start pushing like hell here. Because I know I've got the better tyres as well. Because these guys pit a lap earlier, obviously. And we've got a huge tyre multiplier. So, and the commentators pick up on it as well. You know, the extra lap really cost me. And you're going to see Giorgio catch up to me very, very quick. I knew when Giorgio would catch up to me that it'd be pretty pointless defending so early on towards the end of the race because Giorgio's car was so much quicker in a straight line that he would just overtake me anyway. So at that point, you've got to think strategic. Let Giorgio go. And in the back of my head, at this point actually, sorry, I did try and go for a move. That was an attempt at a move. Now, the commentators thought I didn't go for that. I did. I saw the little gap. I went for it. I knew there was enough room there. I knew I wouldn't hit Adam, but I had to be careful a little bit. But Adam kept going around. Obviously, it compromised my exit a little bit, so Giorgio's going to come at me as well. But I saw Giorgio coming, so I needed to get past Adam. As you see, Giorgio there, very clean there. I gave him a little bit of space there, just enough for an M4 there. No, M4 size space, let's be honest. As we now continue on towards the sharp right-hander. As you see, I'm all over the back of Adam at the moment. Obviously, with the better tyres and not being faster in a straight line as well, I've got to try and figure this out. Obviously, I've not raced Alsace a lot, so I've got to really work it out. As you see, just a lovely line through there. No huge risks that I took there. Coming into this braking zone, I was actually braking and dabbing the accelerator to really straighten the car up in the braking zone. Otherwise, the car was very rotaty. Obviously, being an MR, the weight transfer was there. As you see, getting very close to Adam. Very close to Adam. And Mikhail's gone at this point. Look, 5.2 seconds, 5.3 seconds. As we continue on now towards this right-hander. So Giorgio's obviously going to go for the overtake at this point because he's so close to me. Gets a lovely line through there. Went for a wider line to get a really good exit. But you're going to see the M4 now really start to pull me in. So as you see, we're both in slipstream here, but look at the M4 just go. Absolutely go. So I do the same thing that I did earlier on in the race. Gave him just enough room there, Giorgio. Maybe a bit too close, but I thought it was fair game. As I then stick on the inside to try and hit the apex. Although I clipped the curb, which was the bad part of this. So then Giorgio then goes for the move round the outside. Look at the power. Through there he goes. Lovely move by Giorgio. And he's going to get that move basically done because the next corner is a right-hander. I'd say we will touch on this in the GT driving school about prepping an opponent for overtakes and how you prepare them. Giorgio obviously knew what he was doing there and gets a position. I didn't fight it too much there because then I could let Giorgio go and fight Adam and everybody else. And potentially it still brings me into the fray. I'm still in that fight for second position. We're all there. So let's advance a lap later. Let's advance a good old lap later. So as you see, we're all there. You got Patrick in the second place, Mikhail's in first, obviously. Look, 8 seconds ahead. Giorgio in there, just overtaking Adam in the same place where he had me, basically. As I say, the M4 was very quick in a straight line, very, very quick, good on its tyres as well. Pierre going for the move on Patrick. Patrick gave lots of room, bit of contact there because he just gave, sort of stopped a little bit, tried to go for the cutback a little bit maybe. It gets a bit carnagey here, so it goes 2 by 2. Giorgio's still there, Adam in there as well, and I was looking for a place to overtake. I was thinking, oh, I'll go for the cutback here. Didn't have the pace on the exit. Car wasn't fast. I was like, go, car, go, 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 go. Doesn't quite happen. It's coming to the right hand. Pierre just runs a little bit wide here. This is good racing, but again, I think the tyre multipliers sort of ruined it a little bit with the fact that, you know, Patrick was struggling with his tyres a lot more than everybody else. Obviously, I'm on a lap newer tyres as well, so at this point I'm trying to follow people through because the only way I can get around people is in corners, as you've seen in this race already. So I think, okay, I'm going to go on the inside on this corner. This should get me a position here. So I followed Giorgio round on the inside, so we got side by side with Adam Saswillo. So I continue on. Patrick's obviously lost another position because his tyres are completely off now. Again, he has the same sort of thing with me where his tyres have just gone on that lap 4. Mine not as bad as his. Patrick really had the sort of underdog car in terms of tyre wear. And as you see, now the whole group is together. I mean, look at this. Duval's in there, Salazar's in there, Lopez is in there as well. As you see, Giorgio trying to go around the outside in that M4. So we're going to slow this down now. Slow it down. We're going to slow it down. So remember, dirt stays on your tyres a little bit longer. Patrick's got a good run here. Look at that run by Patrick, and he's going to go for the Moses manoeuvre, as we've all called it now since I did it on stream. So Pierre is to the left, Giorgio is here, and Patrick's going down the middle. Adam is very close as well, so, you know, half a second. I think that starts to come down. Does it come down or does it go up? Sort of evens-ish, but as you see, I'm right on Adam's tail here. So I make my intent very clear. I'm going down the inside. So we're coming to this braking zone. This braking zone is very different on a per car basis. Very per car basis. I'm going to pause this before the director... Oh, it just changed. I knew he was going to change around there. Can I change? So, we'll just continue a little bit further on. Come on, camera. Look at that, 11 seconds ahead now, Mikhail. It was a really quick car, that F1. Good on its tyres. So, before the cameraman decides to change it, director. So, I knew I was always going to go down the inside. I had these 3 up ahead. I knew there could be carnage here. Little did I know the carnage would involve me, but there we go. So, as you come down here, your braking zones for each one of these cars is different, and the way they brake is different. So, like the Aston Martin will be very heavy on the front, so it probably has to brake a little bit earlier because of the amount of weight it puts on the front. The Audi understeers a lot, so that's a brake earlier. Giorgio, while it's front-engined, probably has very good tyres because he's lap newer tyres, and the BMW M4 is good on tyres, so could probably brake a little bit later. Saswillo, lap older tyres than me, who's on a lap newer tyres. So I always do, I was going to go down the inside here, right? So going down here, it's going to cut to lightning now, but Adam actually out-brakes himself. Jimmy's funny here, he's like, no, director, go back, we know this, go back, director. It's hilarious. Not director, please. I know we're going slow-mo here, guys. But you can see all the arrows. Look at all the arrows together here. Imagine if everybody was in sort of the same car, which is what everybody wants for the N500 race. Everybody in the same cars. Right, so here we go. Giorgio has managed to get that line. As I say, Giorgio had the newer tyres on the inside. He's going to get that position, can brake later. Adam runs wide here, like really wide. Look at this. He tries to stop himself. So I've gone down the inside. I'm following Patrick at this point. So as we then come into this tight left-hander, I'm on Adam's outside, right? You can see everybody now is fighting for position. Giorgio has got this position sorted. Now, you can't see it on camera. It's just off camera. So, me and Adam, it's right on the apex as well. Now, Adam knows I'm there. You can see it here, actually, with the fact the gap's changing. So, me and Adam touch. It's a light touch, but you know in Gran Turismo, cars bounce off each other. And obviously, being an MR car, the weight then moves to the rear right of the car, like a lot. We've seen that in other races, you know, in Austria when Zoran and Alexoni came together. Again, you saw the front left get loaded massively with a slight touch. Same thing happens here, right? So my right rear gets loaded massively. So at this point, it pushes me out. You can see the understeer, right? You can see me trying to bring it back. I can't bring it back at this point. It's bounced me so off. It's loaded that whole right side of the car that I'm going to hit the wall here. And you can just see it. It's the tiniest of clips. The tiniest. But the weight shift, right? Because it's the tiniest of clips, the weight shifts all over there. I've now just hit the barrier, which forces the weight entirely in the opposite direction. Full on opposite. funny picture with a snake there, isn't it? But look at that. So yeah. Because the whole weight was loaded to that side, I then hit the barrier slightly. It loads the weight completely to the other side. That obviously shifts the car. It's an MR car as well, so the whole thing is flying everywhere. And I lose out massively. I was so gutted with this, but as you see there, I nearly spin, but I keep it because Yamas is so far away. I was frustrated. You see Giorgio pointing to the wheel, just saying that he wants it changing. So yeah, I was hugely disappointed there because if I'd have come in the same lap as Patrick, I have a very sneaky suspicion I would have still finished second in that race. That obviously prepares you then for the next race because that's your starting position for the next race. So if I'd have gone from third to second, I'd have been happy there. So congratulations to Mikhail and everybody for a good race. I did have some fantastic battles there with Patrick and Giorgio in there as well, and Adam. So yeah, I was gutted after that. And then you can see the points here. Down on 2 points. Oh, it's such a shame. So let's get to the next race. I do talk about Dragon Trail. Now, Dragon Trail Seaside 2 we had done in a manufacturer's race. I'm just trying to find it here. I'm just grabbing another sip of water. Wow, 47 minutes. Sorry it's so long, guys, but hey, hopefully you're getting a good insight into my thoughts and feelings here. Remember, stay hydrated. Believe it or not, I was staying hydrated during each of these races as well. Jimmy picked up on that because he said, look, he's having some more water. Right, so here is the grid for race 2. Seaside 2, obviously we've got the death chicane. We've got a left-hander after the death chicane, which has many lines and lots of overtaking moves. So Mikhail is in the Jaguar. Now, Jaguar is obviously very similar to the car I'm in, which is the Aston Martin. We have Giorgio in the Nissan GTR GT3 car. Pierre in the Alpha. Pierre was hilarious when he picked that out of the random. We basically had some balls. You just put your hand in, you pick it out. That's the car you got. He was like, is that a Joker? A Joker car? Unbelievable, Snake. It was hilarious. Adam in the M6. Good car here. Apparently quite slow in the straights, though. Salazar in the Porsche. Another good, strong car, that. We then had Afo in the FT1. Obviously going to be a very good car on tyres. We've seen that already on day one. A lot of people like the FT1 because it is very good on its tyres. We have us starting in 9th position. Obviously, I then need to literally go. I really need to go. And then Yamas at the back in the R8. So, let's just stop initially and let's look at tyres. Everybody's on mediums, a couple on soft, and then I'm on hards. Now, the reason I chose hards, and I think this is the right strategy for this race, is that the Aston Martin is very harsh on its tyres. It's the same as this Jaguar, and Lightning picks up on this on his interview a little bit. It's very harsh on its tyres, so I wanted to go for hards until lap 6, and then go softs for 7, 8, 9. Now, the thing that I need to, or should have learnt from this race, is that the tyres last a little bit longer in the race than they did in qualifying sessions or practice sessions. For some reason, I don't know why. Perhaps it's to do with some form of racing line on there, which it helps reduce tyre wear. I don't know, because you have additional grip. So, even so, I was good. At that, in my head, the strategy at the time was pit at the end of lap 6, 7, 8, 9 softs, and just go for it. That was my strategy, and I was hoping not to lose positions that much on hards, but keep with these guys, so then I would have the soft tyre at the end and be rapid. And obviously, towards the end of the stint, the medium tyres would struggle. and then the hards should hopefully come into play, basically. So what I want to do first is just have a look at the total time between the cars. I'm hoping it starts showing straight away. Yep, here we go. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. So how far off the lead are we here? So 0.8, 1.1, 1.5-ish, 1.6, 1.7, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. About 3 seconds off the lead here at this point. So 3 seconds off the lead. So, you know, got quite a significant way to go to get to the lead. As you see in the background, there's some... I saw Koke go off here, and then I saw him just spin. So instantly we gain a position. So I'm thinking, yes, one position up on hard tyres. We're doing well here. Chicane, obviously, everyone was slightly worried a little bit about, because chicane of death. Yo, one person makes a mistake, the whole field could crash. But fortunately, that doesn't happen in this race, so it's pretty good going. And you see Pierre all over the back of Giorgio. You can see I was instantly putting Affo under a little bit of pressure. Affo ran wide on the corner, so again, I get another position. I'm thinking, at this point, I'm thinking, wow, I've gone from 9th to 7th here on hard tyres. I'm doing okay. Let's keep this up. Really keep this up. Yomas was, again, keeping behind me. And Yomas actually said after, what? He's on hard tyres? That's what he was thinking at the time, because he couldn't believe I was on hard tyres and keeping up the pace I was doing in the car. Again, I don't think mediums are the best strategy in quite a lot of situations with these, because the mediums start to scrub quite quickly, and then the hards do come into their own. So that's why I was sort of going for the hard soft strategy. You can see a lot of fighting here. Pierre just clipping that curb. Now I had learned in the manufacturer race, so that curb is very dangerous. So Pierre learned very quickly there that is dangerous. And as you see, on hard tyres at the end of lap 1, we are still in play here. Still in play. Mikhail's just gone for it on that medium tyre. You can see they're fighting as well. So as this fight's going on up ahead, I'm thinking, we can catch this. We can catch this and get involved. We can make some positions up here. So as you see, it's basically 3 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide, all fighting, coming down into this corner. And Anthony Duval gets a penalty there. I wasn't fully sure what that was for, because the exit of turn 1 is quite difficult to judge. So I wasn't aware what was going on. So as you see, I was fighting with Yomas here, so I managed to pull away a little bit here, and then this chicane becomes my corner because I'm on the inside. So Yomas gives that up. As you see, the gap is now dropping, and you see the line of cars here. Adam leading the way. There's being the Aston Martin on the hard tyres, remember guys, hard tyres. As we continue on. And this fight here, this is the corner where the main action happens on this track. It's a bloody good corner for overtaking. You'll see a lot of dive bombs there as well, especially in the lower divisions of drivers. You will start to see issues there, but even so, you can see I am with these guys. I am fighting for position here. So I'm thinking at the moment, I'm thinking, excellent, I'm on for a fourth place here. I can fight with these guys on the hard tyres. And this is only going to come to me because as the mediums go on, they lose grip, I gain grip. So I am thinking excellent at this point. As they then come into this left-hander, Adam leading the way there in that M6. I'm not sure what the M6 was like on its tyres. It's one car I didn't test before I went, and I really wish I did. I do really wish I did. As you see, Patrick and Salazar are fighting each other in the Porsche and the Beetle. Technically 2 Beetles. But as you see here, so if I just pause it, so Patrick ran a little bit wide, forces Salazar onto this curb. Now, I saw this instantly. The minute I saw this happen, I thought, I'm having you. This Aston is fast on the straights, right? So you can see I take a really nice line. These two are going to be really soft this corner. Look how much I gained straight away. You can see that instantly. I've got such a run on these guys. So I go for the outside. Patrick's now going down the inside. Look at this. Now, Yomas tried to do the same thing, so you can see me and Yomas both saw that, but I managed to get loads of positions here. I gave Patrick a little bit of room on the exit. Now, I've just got enough room here, so this was a good place for me. I knew I had the legs on the Beetle in this Aston Martin. It's very quick in a straight line. Beetle's more for corners. So the minute I get ahead here, and I get just enough ahead, as you see, Patrick sort of bails out of it at that point because I'm ahead. So I'm into 5th. You have no idea how happy I'm at this point. I'm in 5th place on hard tyres with this session going to come to me more than it is to them because they're on mediums and I'm on hards. I was just like, what? I was beaming ear to ear at this point because I was showing my pace. I'd done some overtaking moves in the last race. I'd done I did one last race but made a couple more. Quite aggressive ones. I'd been making moves here as well. prepping my overtakes perfectly, knowing where to overtake, knowing my strengths, knowing my weaknesses. I think I've picked the right strategy here for the Aston because of hard tyres. It just allowed me to have that much more tyre grip. As you see, I'm holding up Patrick in the handling section because Patrick's in a handling car. That is going to happen. So as you see here, if you look at this, Patrick gets a little bump there, and that's what helps me into this corner. I try and outbrake Patrick in there, but unfortunately I ran a little bit too deep. And then Patrick gets another little bump there, which helps him along here. So I know there's a bump there, which is quite sketchy sometimes. So Patrick is going to get the position. I then just want to pull in behind Patrick. So I'm thinking, okay, slipstream here. I'll get the slipstream and hopefully go for it. So round there we go. You just see the Aston Martin just struggling a little bit now with the rear end of the car. As I say, tyres are an issue with the Aston Martin, but of course it's got tyres to help itself. As you see, Pierre in, so he was on softs. He's now going to go for the long stint on hard. So Pierre does exactly what I did here, right? I had in my mind 3 laps on soft, 6 laps on hard. So we both had the same idea. As we continue on, we now have the Italian commentators. Ciao Italians! Bellissimo racing. It's terrible, I know, I'm sorry. So as you see, Koke's now gone on to mediums as well. So Koke lost out massively on those soft tyres actually. But you can see how significant this undercut is actually in a little bit. So you see that we're still behind Patrick. We've got Salazar behind as well. Obviously, again, the straight line speed of this Aston Martin is going to help me massively. As we then come in to the left-hander. And again, at this point, I'm still happy with 5th. I'm thinking, my word, because the tyres are going off at this point. I'm thinking, on hard tyres, I've done well here. I've done really well, in my honest opinion. So the fact I'm here at this point, I'm happy. I'm really happy. In fact, if we work out how far we are off the lead, 1.6, 3.6, 4.6, 5.6, 6 seconds, 6.5 seconds off the lead. As you see, here's that instant. Okay, I can sort of see why then potentially it was given. Maybe quite harsh on Anthony, I think there. Maybe could have moved over a little bit quicker. With what happens later on in races, I think that was kind of harsh, but even so, we continue on. You see Adam has pulled the gap now. And these guys are going to come in the pits, I think, at the end of this lap. So, yeah, Patrick's just got that gap here. I'm now struggling with my tyres. As you can probably tell now at this point, the tyres lasted that extra lap with decent grip, and now they come off. Mikhail struggling with tyres now. You can see Giorgio catching up. Again, it's this heavy front engine, very long cars that are going to struggle here. So let's advance a bit further on now. Let's advance a bit further on. So Salazar's still behind me. You can see Mikhail's really lost out here. So you see a lot of guys are now coming in at the end of lap 6 for tyres. Oh no, sorry, I'm lying. I am lying, guys. Sorry, I'm lying. That's my lap. We want the end of lap. Yeah, so you see these guys have already been in the pits. Here we go. So yeah, Adam's now in first. I'm in second. Salazar's in third, and then everybody else has pit. Now Pierre obviously did the big undercut, the very, very big undercut, because he pitted lap 3 and on hard tyres, and now look at him. He's ahead of Mikhail after the pit. Shows you how strong the undercut is again. And again, it really should have clicked with me at the time. This is one thing I really regret, in that I didn't notice how strong the undercut was and how long tyres were actually lasting. Because I think if Pierre had gone on for another lap on softs then hards, I think he'd have been way up the road. Way, way up the road. But even so we're going to come in the pits and we're going to come out. Obviously, we're all going on softs here, so we all had the same idea. I think we all should have pitted a lap earlier. I think Adam even said that. He felt he should have pitted a lap earlier. So, where do we come out again? I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh yes, Koke just passes me here. Williams Koke. So, at this point, because I'm on softs, and I know he's done very well to get up to this point, by the way, Koke. Again, the undercut working well. I know he's going to struggle on tyres, so I'm 3.4 seconds behind Koke. I'm sort of where I should be, where Adam is in relation to all of that. So I know I could potentially catch Koke here. I'm just not sure about anybody else. So we're just going to jump a lap or so. So it was 3.4, now look at 2.3, and that's the end of this lap. And obviously my tyres are still going to be very strong versus Koke's. And then you can see Pierre as well losing out now because of the tyres. The tyres really struggling, really, really struggling. So we're going to continue on a bit further. So I do all my moves on the last lap, by the way, to gain some positions here. Oh, we've jumped me. We've jumped me. So, 0.4 here, right? So, I'm really gutted they didn't show this on stream. So, I was going to go full on, like, aggressive here. So, you see Adam backs out of this move? I wasn't going to do that. So, I was side by side with Koke. So, that's Pierre. So, I'm here, right? I'm side by side with Koke at this point. I've just made the move, and I was like, I ain't breaking here, mate. I'm going for this. I don't care. I'm going for it. So I went for that. I fully went for it. So now I'm 2 seconds behind Pierre, right? And this is how bad the tyres are. This is how bad the tyres are at the end of a stint. But track positioning can be critical. I need to remember that. You can see the gap here. So we'll probably just try and fast forward this rather than try and nail it exactly. So through here we go. You can see Adam now gaining those positions. Adam gaining on the leaders as well. You can see my gap 1.5 now. It was 2, remember, when I passed Koke. It's 1 second. It's 0.8. Let's back it down. So Mikhail going to come round and he's going to have the win here. So I'm 0.8 at this point, right? So I'm about here. In my head, I was like, I'm going for this. I am 100% going for it. That's the Alpha 4C. It's slow on the straights. This Aston is quick. I am going to absolutely nuke my ass off out of this last corner. The problem is it's a chicane, isn't it? So you could just see there in the background. I full on went for it. So look at this gap in a second. I full on went for it. Now watch that gap start jumping. The rear came out massively. I was over the curbs. The rear came out. I thought I'd lost it at one point. I brought it back. But then you're going to see Koke start catching me like ASAP. Like crazy amount. So I lost basically 2 seconds there on Pierre and stuff, and I think it'd have been a little bit more. You just see Koke nearly got me at the end there. And I just want to see the overall lap. Can I see the race results? Show me the race results, god damn it. Let's speed it up a little bit because I wanted to just show you how much in terms of times it was. I think it was 9.9 seconds behind I was from Lightning. And the fact that I was only 9 seconds behind with that incident literally at the end, and also the fact that I was fighting in traffic, I felt I was quick here. So in my mind, I felt I would have had second in Alsace, or should have had second if I didn't go for 1 lap longer. And I felt I could have had second, or at least even fight Mikhail maybe here for a victory. Mikhail was very quick, so don't get me wrong. And we know lots of things potentially could have happened in the race if I was in second place rather than down at the back. Maybe I'll go for different tyres. Maybe I'll do something else. But the fact that I was on pace again here, so I was on pace at Alsace and I was on pace at Seaside, it gave me confidence for Catalonia. It gave me a lot of confidence. So let's advance further on in... Oh, here are the points actually. Now, what was quite funny, when I saw the points go on the board, I could only see flags. I couldn't see names from where I was sat. I was like, what the hell? What, how am I 5th? What's going on here? I finished second to last in here. So I was very confused by this. Very, very confused. So going into the last race, I was thinking, maybe I get a podium. I don't know. I didn't actually realise I was that close. And, you know, an amazing result could have potentially got me there. So let's go to here now. We just need to advance there. But we know where we're starting. 6th place. Look, that was nice. So let me just pause it here for a second. Look at the tyre selections here. Everyone was on hards. So the reason why everyone was on hards, when we did the practice session, softs were only lasting 4 laps, mediums were lasting 5 laps, and hards we were thinking hards will have to last the rest. So we were going for long stints here. So literally lap 1, so we'd have to go to lap 1 to lap 10 and then do 5 and potentially 5 on softs, because when you're on low fuel you use less of your tyres, etc. So potentially it's 10, 5, 5, which is sort of what I had in my head. Mikhail obviously went for mediums first because he's the leader. When you're the leader and you have to use all 3 compounds, go for the fastest first. Try and get away from everybody else. Koke had gone for the softs. Now, at first I thought, ooh, is that not the wrong decision? It's the wrong decision until I saw how fast we were going for the rolling start. It was slower. Look, 50 kilometers an hour. The slowest rolling start we'd ever done. Ever done. Like, even slower than the N500 cars. And it was significant. It was extremely, extremely significant. So, I'm trying to advance a bit further because it's that long. So, watch Giorgio. Giorgio shows you the significance of this on the hard tyre. Now, mediums is not too bad, but watch Giorgio. Flat out, look at the rear just disappear on him. And watch Koke now, instantly overtakes me. So, because the rolling start was so slow, everyone on hards, huge wheel spin, massive wheel spin. If you're on mediums, you sort of survived. If you're on softs, flat out, straight away. So Koke instantly gets ahead of me here, which is fine. I then move to the inside to try and get slipstream, and Afo's there as well. Now, one mistake I made here, I should have stayed to the right. That was significant. That was significant, and you'll see why a little bit later on. So I'm going to just pause it here. You see I'm here. Yomas now very opportunistic here. So usually you stay on the left here to then get a good line for the right. Yomas went on that inside of me. So then he would have the inside of this long right-hander. And you can see we've got a big, big fight there. Giorgio lost a lot of places because of that. And as we continue round, as you see, lots of people there. Afo just outbrakes himself, I think, going into this corner. And he goes off. So Afo now is going to lose out massively. I'm down to essentially last place at the moment. I'm fighting with Salazar at this point. So as we come round here, you can see we're all still side by side. I'm trying to get ahead of everybody here because I know I'm going to be fast. You saw my qualifying time. I know I'm going to be fast. I know my brake balance is right. So I use -5 brake balance because the rears would wear out a lot. So when you put it on -5, they rear perfectly with the fronts. It was ridiculous how perfect it was. I'm going to continue on a little bit here. So see, Giorgio's now ahead of Yomas. I'm in 8th place. Afo is now way behind. Now slipstream was significant here, very significant. So if you lost the slipstream, you were potentially out the race. It would take a lot to get it right. So at this point, I'm going to have a battle with Yomas for quite a while, and I couldn't really find a good place to overtake. Now as the laps went on, so I'm going to advance a little bit further on here. So obviously Yomas for the first few laps had slipstream off Giorgio, which did help. Koke obviously made his way through the field on those soft tyres. So every time I could get on the inside of Koke, so I'm doing this on the fast right-hander here, right? Because I had so much more grip because of my brake balance. I was trying to get on the inside, on the outside. You can see me changing constantly. I was trying all sorts. I tried this lap after lap after lap after lap. I kept trying. And my main overtaking place was also this fast left-hander here, the sharp fast left-hander. I tried diving deep, going around the outside. I tried all sorts. I really did try all sorts. I got more and more aggressive as the race went on as well. I love Catalonia. It's like one of my favourite racetracks in terms of racing on, and I'm consistent. You can see here I got ahead of Yomas, but then me and Yomas are actually side by side. You just can't see it there, and we've lost a lot of time to this leading group, which is why I wanted to get ahead. I really wanted to push on because I knew me and Yomas maybe could work together here because I had so much more grip in the corners, and that's how I tried to go for the undercut and overcut on each of the corners. I had so much more. So as you see here, I'm going for the late braking manoeuvre, and then what's going to happen here, is it this lap? Nope, not this lap. So we're going to go one more lap. Let's go another lap. My mouse has decided it's got a mind of its own. Right, here we go, guys. So this is lap number 5. Tiny bit more. So as we come into this left-hander, right? I'm going to try and go around the outside of Yomas here. Again, I've gained loads of time again. Yomas really struggling with the rear end of his car here. I'm surprised Koke had been out on softs for this long as well, by the way. I was really surprised. So I'm going to try and go around the outside. So notice this time start going up. So basically what had happened is we're coming down into... How's best to do it? I'll do it this way. So this is me. This is Yomas. And we're going that way. So I try and brake around the outside. We turn around the corner. So obviously then Yomas has the position. But then Salazar follows Yomas. So as we go around the corner, Salazar hits this quarter and spins me right round into the gravel. You know what it's like in GT, worn tyres, you get a little bit of weight transfer sometimes in these cars, they can go flying. These don't have the downforce you can feel in the game, these got a lot less downforce. So that spins me round. At this point, my tyres then get wrecked because of the multiplier. I then lose the slipstream as well, as you see. And I did wonder initially, like, why there wasn't an investigation. So look at this. I'm 5.7 seconds, 5.8 seconds off the Valle. It was that significant. It was huge. And at this point, I'd given up, because what could I do at this point? What could I really do? Now, the other issue I had is that if I advanced quite a bit further on, and that under investigation was for that as well, I believe. So a lot of guys started coming in lap 9, and then me and Giorgio actually carry on to lap 10. The end of lap 10. So if you notice, Giorgio's there and I'm here. Again, the reason was we thought tyres wouldn't last as long. Now, some people had clocked onto it straight away when Koke went to lap 7 on softs. They were like, ooh, better change over. And remember, the undercut is significant here. So Koke changes to the next set of tyres and is suddenly in the fight. Giorgio's got a pit yet and he's fighting with Mikhail. That's how much Giorgio had lost. So these guys are going to fight. Mikhail obviously leading the way here, essentially, because he's on hard tyres. But then Giorgio is obviously going to come in, and then I'm going to come in. Patrick had a spin, by the way, as well. So I'd obviously come in, I'd come out, and I was 8 seconds off. Again, the undercut cost me. At this point, I sort of realised and was just like, what can I do? Because when I got to the end of my medium stint, I was like, whoa, my mediums can still go on here. What's going on? So after the race, because obviously I'm out the race at this point, there's no point showing you the rest of this, so I'll just explain what happened. So after the race, Pierre was like discussing it, and then he asked me, he said, did your tyres last a lot longer? And I was going to ask the same question. I was like, will your tyres last a lot longer? I was like, yeah. I was expecting him to last 4 laps on softs, maybe 5 at the end on like low fuel. He's like, yeah, I thought the same, but then Koke did 7 laps. Yomas said the same. He said, oh, I saw Koke do 7, so I came in. And then I'm thinking, that cost me as well. That really did cost me. Obviously, the spin puts you off a lot, because at that point, my mentality was, I was so far behind, I was so far out of slipstream, there is no point in me racing. No point in me racing. And in reality, I probably should have kept my head in the game a little bit more, but I was then off the podium anyway, and I was so frustrated it didn't get a penalty in the first place. Now, I've got nothing against Salazar, but if it ruins somebody else's race, in my opinion, it should get a penalty for an avoidable collision. I did speak to them after, and they said that they weren't being as harsh on penalties here, but the World Finals, that would have been a penalty. So I was a little bit gutted. But even so, the one, I take away some positives from this, okay? So, we'll watch this little battle as it's going on. So my positives from this, right, are the fact that at Alsace, at Dragon Trail, at the qualifying of this combo, I was on pace every single time. Alsace, I was on pace, even though it's a track I absolutely hate. Dragon Trail Seaside 2, I was on pace. I was overtaking people on the harder compound of tyre. I was definitely on pace. Catalonia qualifying, again I was on pace. I was up on Lightning's lap time on by 1.5 tenths. I got a little bit of oversteer, which cost me time on that lap, so it was a bit unfortunate, but even so, I was on pace. Qualified P3 in this field, unbelievable. The other positives I got from this is that I was actually making some very decent moves in these races. If I look at Alsace, my move on Patrick, I was fighting with Giorgio. My attempted moves on Adam, they were clean, fair, and aggressive moves. I'm not an aggressive driver, and it's one thing I do need to improve. A couple of people have said it, you're too kind, you're too much of a gentleman racer, and that you're not going to win these events unless you improve that. So I am looking to improve that. You'll watch my live streams, I will be starting to go more and more aggressive. I'll still remain clean, but more aggressive. I'll be forcing people a little bit more out than I would normally would. I'd be leaving a little bit less space than I normally would. So if I improve that side of my game, I think I might be there. In terms of pace, lap time pace, I maybe need 1 or 2 more attempts and that's it, and I should be fine. But I'm so happy that I was on pace at Alsace especially, because that's a track I don't know, and I was fighting. So I take away positives from this event. Even though the European finals didn't go well, I still made it to the World Finals from the World Final qualifier. I take away positives, because I was also, by the way, one of the fastest in the repertoire qualifying. I was 3rd overall. Again, it showed you I was on pace in these events. So again, I'm happy that I'm on pace. I just need a little bit more training in myself, my mindset, and I think I will be there, to be honest. I think I will really be there. So I hope you've enjoyed this race analysis. Obviously, we're not going to go to the end because you know what happens. I come last in this race and I'm bottom of the points. I'm hoping the seeding doesn't affect me like that and that I still get decent qualifying. I hope the Nations races are one-make races and we have the most epic, close battles you can imagine. I hope the tyre multiplier is down and they just say 1-stop pit mandatory, 2-stop pit mandatory, you've got to use all tyres. I really do hope that's the situation. But even so, again, guys, thank you so much for the support. Honestly, I can't tell you how much, reading the messages and stuff, it's unbelievable. I hope I can give you a good performance at the World Finals. I go there to enjoy the experience because you need a serious amount of luck to win there. But I will go and try and compete for the victory as well. I say, thanks very much for watching, guys. If you like it, that video, liked it. If you dislike it, dislike it. But leave a comment to say why you disliked it, or leave a comment if you liked it. Say what you want to change. Say if you want me to change the way this race analysis works. But that's it for me for now. Thanks for watching.